to my channel. Today will be the 5th and final episode of the pre-PA FAQ with Paul the PA student. So I'm sure you got the gist by now, but be sure to check out his video on his channel because it's a little bit different than this one. So make sure that you get the full experience and go check out his video too. But alright, today we have a lot of questions for you, so let's get to it. So the first question is, did you work as a CNA in your undergrad years? So yes and no, I got my CNA certificate the summer between my freshman and sophomore year, but I only worked during the summers. So technically it was during the time period of my undergrad, but I never worked during school. I personally wanted to prioritize my GPA, and in my mind, PCE is easier to get than fixing your GPA if you mess it up, so that was my focus during the school year. The next question was, did I use any PA prep programs for helping with my application or with my interview? So for my application, no, I really didn't. I won a giveaway for a free personal statement edit, but it wasn't like something crazy. I'd already basically had my personal statement edited by everyone like around me at school and stuff, so it wasn't that much of a drastic change to my personal statement. But other than that, I didn't have any other services. I wish I had my PA box, not just because I'm like a affiliate with them. I wish, like genuinely wish that's something I had during my journey. That would have helped so much with organizing everything and would have helped me pick my schools earlier probably and like be more prepared and know what classes to take earlier. As for my interview, I did a couple mock interviews with people around me. I didn't use any of like the popular sources or any of the, pages that you see on Instagram and stuff. The PA process is already super expensive, so if you have resources around you, such as like mock interviews at your school or something, take advantage of those. So for me, that was just finding mock interviews that I did not have to pay for and using resources online that were free. It is definitely doable. You do not need to pay for all of the services, but I have heard really great things about them, so if that's something that you think you need, I would still try to do that.
This question is great. Did I get time to see family and friends during PA school? So I'm second year right now. First year was a little tough. Honestly, first quarter, I did not get to see my friends. I did not get to see my family. It was rough. But what I'm going to say is, make time for your friends, make time for your family. It's worth your sanity. It took me a little bit of time to get that situated and to get that time management skill, so I highly recommend focusing on that. And take the time off, take the breaks. I know a lot of my classmates have kids or have wives or husbands, and they have other duties other than their PA school. Obviously, PA school is on top of the list, but your family and friends are also on top of the list. You're gonna miss a few things. You're gonna miss a few birthdays. You're gonna miss a few things, but try not to miss the big stuff. Try not to miss the weddings. Try not to miss the engagements. Take the time off. That's my recommendation. It's tough, and I know people are gonna be like, no. Take the time off. Those events are not going to repeat themselves as long as you're doing good in school, as long as you're doing okay in school, take the time off. That's just my personal opinion. It's up to you. Some people will be, no, you're wrong, or disagree. Go ahead, disagree. But I just feel like sometimes that extra few hours of studying is honestly doing more harm than good. For my second, third, and fourth quarter, I took weekends off. I did not touch a book on the weekends. Still did great, still passed. So, busted my ass on the week though. I was up at 3:30 in the morning every day. So that's what I did. It was kind of a balance. But if you're gonna study on the weekend, you can, sleep in a little bit. But if you're not, then like I did, I took the weekends off. Had to wake up super early, had to get all my studying done in the morning so that I'm more productive.
So the next question is, what is the hardest thing about applying to PA school? In all honesty, I think it's just the waiting game. It's waiting to hear back from schools. It's starting to hear those rejections at first before you get those interviews. All of that takes such a mental toll on you because you have spent so much time on your application and your preparation to get into school. And then when you start hearing back, or if you don't hear back for months, that is just so hard mentally because you just question everything you've done and if it's good enough. But once you start getting those interview invites and you start hearing like acceptances and stuff like that, it makes it so worth it. But definitely the waiting game, the quiet period between applying. I applied in like June and August and I didn't really hear back anything until September. So from June until September, that's a long time to not hear anything. And silence to me makes me question everything, in normal day things, let alone a graduate school application. So I think that was just the hardest time, was to distract myself, stay busy, keep preparing if I do need to apply for another cycle, but just to not go insane during that time. Alright, the next question is, what is something you wish you would have started earlier? And I say this every time, I wish I started shadowing earlier. Not because I don't think the PA profession is for me, but because I didn't really get to see what a PA does in person until later into my college career. And I didn't really have the opportunity to find PAs in different specialties to shadow. So I've only really shadowed in like family medicine, internal medicine, and then an allergy PA. So those were all really, really great experiences. I wish I would have had more opportunities to shadow like a PA at like a hospital so I could see the difference between working at a clinic and working at a hospital. So I think for me, the shadowing that I missed out on was not to determine if PA was right for me, but more to determine if there are any specialties or what setting I think I would prefer as a PA. But yeah, shadowing, I would definitely recommend shadowing.
The thing that I wish I knew early on is that the classes that you retake are still counted on your GPA. It doesn't take over that class or kind of like replace the grade. You can't replace the grade. It counts as two different classes. So just keep that in mind. I wish I knew that. I had one of my classes that I had retaken. It was on my transcripts. It said that on my school GPA, it said that this class is dropped, but CASPA still counted it. So just make sure that you know that. Make sure that you understand that even if it is dropped from your transcript, but a grade is still put on a transcript, CASPA will still count it. So just keep that in mind.
So next question is, what should you do each year of your undergraduate? That answer is so long and I do not have time to talk about that, but I do have other videos that do touch upon that. So one of the videos I have is a step-by-step guide to PA school, so that helps break it down. Then I also have a video of a timeline of my own CASPA experiences for each year of my undergraduate, so if you want help with that, you can check that video out. Next question is, how many PA schools do I recommend applying to? So the average I've heard is around 7 to 10-ish. Some people I know applied to 20 plus, I applied to 4. So honestly, it's really up to you and how many you feel comfortable applying to, especially financially. If you actually meet the requirements and are competitive at those schools, you genuinely like the school and their mission statement and what they're about, and you can actually see yourself living in there and especially having rotations there and maybe even getting job offers in that area. And you want to make sure that you apply to schools that you are competitive at and that you meet all of their deadlines and everything, because that's one thing when people apply to a lot of schools is they forget deadlines sometimes. So they just kind of waste money on applications that were never completed by them. So a manageable number, just schools that you're competitive at and that you're actually interested in, whatever number that is for you, that's good for you. You don't have to listen to what everybody has or what the average is. Do what you feel comfortable with. So the next question is, how does financial aid work for PA school? So to be honest with you, I'm going through this right now and it's kind of confusing and everybody's trying to figure it out. But I applied for FAFSA, I got my pre-approval, and then in June, so next month, I'll hear back from my final numbers that I'll get. So they do give you enough to cover your tuition and then also some cost of living. I am trying to figure it out still, so my school is a little bit more expensive than other PA schools, so I might also have to take out private loans, but I'm also applying to scholarships that I will hear back in September-ish. So it's kind of up in the air right now, but as of now, I've taken FAFSA and they gave me about $60,000, so that will cover part of my tuition and then cost of living. But once I get a more final number and everything kind of falls into place, I'll make a video about my budgets and how I'm going to manage my money throughout PA school and food and cost of living and tuition and all of that. So once that's more finalized, look out for a video about that.
How does financial aid work for PA school? You're in for a treat, guys. So for me, it was all financial aid. You apply through FAFSA, they approve whatever amount of money they would approve for you. From there, they will, calculate how much money they will be able to offer you. And if you need more money, you can pull private loans. I highly recommend trying not to, but if you really need it, go ahead. It's better than getting credit card debt because the interest rate is a lot different. So I would highly recommend getting a loan versus going into credit card debt. But it's all through FAFSA. I know you apply annually. I want to say deadline is around January. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but I usually submit my application December or January. And for me, it's a 24-month program. I have to submit 3 times. I know some programs are a little bit longer. They might have to submit 3, maybe 4 times.
So next question is, what is something about CASPA that I wish I had known going into the application? So I'm not going to say I know everything about CASPA, but I've been working with CASPA since I was in my 2nd year of college. I was a pre-PA peer mentor my 2nd year, and I had a couple 5th, 4th years that were applying, so I had to know CASPA very well to give them advice. So I had been working with CASPA and been active on that site for 3+ years by the time I applied. I think the thing that I didn't use the most that I should have used was actually their FAQ page and just contacting them. I didn't really have a reason to contact them until I was putting in my grades because I had questions about like my study abroad experience. But they were so extremely helpful, and it was really good to get the answer directly from CASPA versus sometimes PA forums people have different like contradicting ideas of what's correct. So that's something that I would really recommend, is to utilize their FAQ page but also contact them because they are pretty responsive. So the next question is, should I be a PA or nurse practitioner since they are the same amount of schooling? The path to PA versus NP is very, very different. So although the schooling may be like the same amount, it just depends like what path you want to take, and ultimately like the professions are different. They have different styles. One's a medical model, one's a nursing model. So it's up to you. So I think the only way you can really figure that out is shadowing. And I know it's cliche, but it's so true. That will really help you determine and see for yourself what an NP does versus what a PA does and how they go about practicing. So I think shadowing NPs and PAs and asking them about why they chose that profession versus the other, and looking more into the actual curriculum and what you learn within each profession, will ultimately help you decide which one is better for you. So next question is, do you ever feel like you may genuinely not be smart enough to become a PA? And if so, how do you overcome that? So this is an uncomfortable question to answer, just because I'm not going to lie and say that yes, I have thought I'm not smart enough, because I'm confident in myself and I have worked very hard throughout school ever since elementary school, and I've taught myself how to be dedicated and how to be focused. So honestly, no, I've never thought I'm not smart enough. I'm not saying PA school is going to be easy for me. I am going to have to study just as much as everybody else does. It is going to be a big challenge for me, but I have spent the last, 15 plus years of my life dedicated to school. Science, education, all of that to me is extremely important, and that's something that I value in my life, and that's going to be no different with PA school. And I wouldn't have applied to PA school if I thought I wasn't smart enough to become a PA. And I don't want to come off cocky or saying that I think I'm the smartest person ever, but I know myself and I put so much dedication into what I do, especially school. So there's no way that I am going to fail. I know that. I know myself. I know the support system I have at school. I know the support system I have at home. So I have no doubt in the world that I will become a PA. I will be competent and I will be compassionate. I don't have a doubt in that in myself. And I know that may be a weird answer to this question, but I'm just being honest with you, and I don't want to degrade myself and how much work I've put into this. But I know a lot of people feel like that. Imposter syndrome is extremely real. Some of my absolute smartest friends that are in PhD programs doing incredible things every day still don't think that they're smart enough to be in that program, but they're getting A's in all of their classes and they're like at this top level of their class. So it's definitely a real thing. It's common with everybody. I'm not saying I don't feel like that sometimes, but overall, no, I am confident in myself, and you should be confident in yourself too. If you get accepted into a program, if you've done all of those classes to get into PA school, you are smart enough. You are meant to be there. If you get in, you're there for a reason. They picked you for a reason. There were 2,000 plus applicants for these schools, and they picked you for a reason. It's hard to be confident, especially through schooling. Schooling is something that challenges everyone mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that. But at the end of it, the journey to PA school is so rigorous, and if you have gotten to the point where you're ready to apply, you're there, you're ready, and you are smart enough. You have to believe in yourself and show the admissions committee that you believe that you are smart enough as well. Confidence, confidence, confidence is important in your journey to PA school. So last question is, what factors help you determine what schools you're applying to, and why did you choose your specific program? So I'm not going to go into in depth in that because I do have a video. So I'll link all the videos that I said I had already in the description down below. And that video explains how I chose my school and like what qualities I wanted in a school before I applied to it. As for why I chose NBKU, I had already met their admissions director and a previous class president through the pre-PA club down at San Diego State, so I had conversation with them. They were extremely nice and just genuinely cared about like the well-being of the pre-PA students. So that inspired me to go check out their open house. Once I went to the open house and met all the faculty and staff and students, they were the nicest people ever, and I felt so welcomed. I never felt judged or that I was, that they were condescending or anything. They were just so sweet and genuine and wanted to know about me and everybody else's journey to getting into PA school. I then joined their pre-PA club, which is something I really want to be a part of because I was a pre-PA peer mentor, and obviously I have these types of channels, so that's something that I'm passionate about. So even the fact that they had that had already intrigued me. But once I joined and went to their events, I realized that school was just such a home type of school. Everybody just knew each other and knew how everybody was doing, and they knew people's dogs and relationships, and they just were all like a tight-knit community that were like helping each other and supporting each other through the school, and that's something that I really wanted. Also, they have a module system, which to me makes sense. So say you're doing cardiology, you'll learn everything about cardiology. You'll learn pharmacology, physiology, all of that about cardiology. So those things overlap, which to me made sense. And obviously it must be working because their PANCE pass rate is 100% every year. So that is phenomenal. And I'm hoping that I can continue that too. But alright, so that was part 5, the final part of the pre-PA FAQ Q&A, so many letters, with Paul, the PA student. If you are liking my videos, please remember to like and subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you can be notified when I post. If you have any questions ever, you can always DM me on my Instagram at whitecoatchasing. Don't forget to go and check out Paul's version of this video. It'll be linked below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!